In this video, I committed myself to fighting in Arkham Shadow until I collapsed from exhaustion. I did this in the brand new Infinite Combat Challenge that was released in the latest update. After grinding through New Game Plus in just a couple of days, I was ready and raring to go. In my previous videos where I talked about my combat style, it's safe to assume that most of those tactics have carried over, but I wasn't trying to be as high energy in my fighting as I normally am. Going into this challenge, I knew that my biggest hurdle was going to be my own physical exhaustion. So rather than actually punching hard, I punched just hard enough to get critical strikes and focused on my longevity. For the sake of knowing where I'm at in the challenge, I have this time code up in the top right that will keep track of how long I've been fighting throughout the entire video. And just another note to add, this challenge is focused more on how long I can fight. While a high score is something I worked on and is something that will come naturally, it wasn't the sole reason I did the challenge. My main goal was to see how long I could survive, and I was trying to see if I could go for 1 hour without dying. If you want to watch the entire uncut and unedited version of this fight, I have linked that as an unlisted video down below, so go check it out if you don't believe me when I show you just how long I lasted. The challenge started off just fine, but you can tell I wasn't really all that focused yet since I had just woken up, since I tried to punch an armored enemy right near the beginning. Once I made that little mistake though, we were off to the races. As the minutes began to tick by, I was starting to wake up a little bit more and was feeling a little bit more aware of what was going on around me. But even though I told myself that I was going to take it easy while facing this challenge, I think I was still trying to swing a little bit too hard, and I could feel myself starting to get kind of tired early on. And I knew that as I got tired, I would start to make mistakes, which is exactly what happened. After getting my combo over 450, I finally messed up for the first time. 5 minutes and 25 seconds into the fight, I accidentally tried to punch a stun baton enemy, taking my first hit of the challenge. Now keep in mind, I don't play this game while sitting down, and I don't approach any of these combat challenges with a tactic in mind that would let me cheese my way to a high score or a long runtime. So not only do my arms get tired, but my legs get tired too. There was one mechanic that I forgot was a part of the game that really came in handy during the latter half of this challenge. There's an upgrade that you can get that will allow you to counter shield attacks and stun baton attacks normally if your shock gloves are enabled, and to be honest, I had forgotten it was even in the game. Once I played through New Game Plus, however, I remembered that it was in the game, and I knew it would be more important the more tired I got. I had hoped that my mistakes would be few and far between, and in the grand scheme of things, they were. I usually was able to get my combo up pretty high. I wasn't sure what kind of score I could expect, but once I crossed the threshold and hit 1 million points, I honestly felt like the sky was the limit. Let's jump ahead just a few minutes to save you some time. Right on. In past Arkham games, when they offered an unlimited combat challenge, I typically went until I got bored and then would let myself get killed. But that's not what we're doing today. By this point, there was sweat dripping down my face, but I knew I couldn't stop. I had promised myself that I was only going to stop by dying or by pure exhaustion. And while I had taken a little more damage by this point, I did have a couple million more points on the board. Now, because I had gotten a higher score than I thought I would, I decided to set my sights on trying to get 10 million points as kind of a sub-goal compared to my surviving 1 hour. I was only a couple million points away, and I knew that if I was able to keep my combo high and stay focused, I could get there without a problem. Time went on, and continued exhaustion set in. There are points throughout the challenge where it felt like I had completely zoned out and was kind of just going with the flow. And as time goes on, you can see my moves get a little more sluggish and sloppy. A counter move that ended up making me more tired than I thought it would was actually the blade dodges, since they require more moving of my body throughout the entire process. The minutes ticked by, and I kept getting high combos that would eventually drop due to a silly mistake as my punches got slower and my reaction time worsened while the sweat continued dripping down my face and off me onto the floor. Just before the 40-minute mark, I took a hit that turned my screen red, meaning my health was low. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think this hit should have gone through and that I should have been able to counter it, but I'll let you watch it and you can tell me what you think. At this point, I felt myself feeling slightly reinvigorated, with a bit of a burst of energy to keep fighting while my health was low. I managed to build my combo back up to over 500 before I lost it again, giving myself a huge burst of points. Now, I didn't look at my score too much during the challenge so that I could focus on the fighting in front of me, but when I saw I had over 8 million, I remembered my goal of trying to hit 10 million and decided to try to keep pushing forward. Over time, I built my combo back up to over 300, re-entering that kind of flow state where I wasn't really thinking, I was just reacting. Once I lost that combo, however, I knew it was only a matter of time before it was over. My arms were so incredibly tired, but I wanted to give it one final push to try to hit 10 million. My combo hit 100, then 200, then 300. The 10 million mark getting closer and closer. But all good things must come to an end. Finally, one last minor mistake was my downfall. I attempted to stop this tiger guard from shooting me, but my head was turned just a few degrees too far to the side, and I missed, and he shot me, and I died. After 55 minutes and 50 seconds, I lost the Infinite Combat Challenge. As you can see here, as soon as the fight was over, I dropped to my hands and knees from pure exhaustion. I'm not exactly surprised that the fight ended the way that it did. I mean, in the last 10 minutes of the fight, it was getting progressively harder to keep going. And by that point, I felt like I was operating purely off of instinct. But hey, at least I hit the number 16 spot on the leaderboard, so that's cool, I guess. I was so close to 10 million, and honestly, I may need to try it again someday when I'm not recording just to see how long I can go again, and maybe next time I'll actually focus on the points instead of the time. But that is how this combat challenge went. What do you think? How high was your score and how long did you go? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.